What is up? So in this video, I'm going to be sharing how I made my first few $1,000s as a copywriter with zero experience. I'm going to give you a few steps that you can take right now to start building your skill set and actually start making money as a copywriter. It's not that hard. I never even knew what it was until recently. And it's crazy how fast you can start making money and how fast you can get good at it and how much money is on the table for copywriters. All right, so I basically just joined a mastermind a few months ago and I was absorbing as much as I could about business. The mastermind was all regarding online business, so I got connected with a lot of people with online businesses. This was great for a few reasons. Number one, I was networking with people to come onto my podcast. That was my main goal. And I was just learning from other people that were building their online business, how they were marketing, and I was just absorbing everything. I started creating content more about business, and it was really, really good just to kind of open my mind as far as like what was out there. But I still didn't really know what copywriting was until somebody reached out to me and asked, somebody in the mastermind reached out to me and asked if I was good at writing. And I was like, yeah, I enjoy writing. But I think I would have said yes no matter what because of like the kind of individual this was. He was a very successful entrepreneur. And so I wasn't going to say no because I was just like, well, if I'm not good, I'll figure it out. I'll learn. And that's always been my mentality, is that if I don't know how to do something, I can learn it in like 24 hours. And so he asked me to ghostwrite a book for him. And this is a $2,000 job. I'd never been paid that much money for one like job. And this was right when I quit my job and like my full-time employment. And so I was like, heck yeah. And I spent like a month, probably like 8 hours a day reading and writing and consuming all of his content because he wanted this book to just be a summary of all of the business content he had created. And for me, that was like a breakthrough. I was like, wow, you can make money just writing. And ghostwriting is different than copywriting, but I just kind of started like studying how like people were making money in that niche because I realized how much money was on the table for writers. And I got connected with a copywriter who I did a podcast with. And that was huge because he just basically like broke down, and it's on my YouTube. I did a course with him about 3 months ago, right when I was learning what copywriting was, about how to become a copywriter. And it's funny because at the time I was not considering copywriting. I didn't think there was this much money in it. But something that had been a really great resource was that I had been filming these podcasts for about 6 months. I have a weekly podcast, and I just interview people on how like they made their success and how, they discovered entrepreneurship and what their start was. And the goal is just to share stories and inspire other young people to start their business. Little context, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 19, but it's just recently that I've gone full time into it, and I'm 22 now. And so anyways, back on track, but I was learning from this guy named Sean Gold, who's a really successful copywriter in Miami. And so pretty recently, about like a month and a half ago, I started reaching out to some of the people that had been on my podcast and just asking them if they knew anyone who had a need for a copywriter and who had anyone who might have a need for those services. I just described what I'd done, and in between those two things, I had just been like rewriting emails. Every time I would get a good email, I was studying it, and I was creating posts for some really high level influencers, and actually some of them posted them. And so that was a really cool thing. And I got some people's feedback, and because I had built this network of entrepreneurs through the podcast and through joining this mastermind, which I invested $2,000 into, at the time that was terrifying, but it turned out to be a really good decision. I made that money back. And I had this huge network of people that were way more successful than me. So I was just learning from them. And then also it gave me the opportunity to, practice my writing, send them my writing. And some of them got back to me and they're like, whoa, like I need a copywriter. And so then that led to some sales calls and, booking those clients. And so that was really cool. And then I started just like doing email marketing and got really good click-through rates. I was marketing my own business at the time. And that was where I realized I'm actually pretty decent at writing emails. And so it was like this process of, I had to write some really bad ones first. But essentially I just learned. And so the steps were, 1, I joined a mastermind. I got around some high-level entrepreneurs. 2, I started practicing writing and kind of just like accidentally landed that first job. But from there, I started practicing the writing very intentionally. I was writing every single day and just reading a ton. So I was reading, I was writing, I was, really honing in on those skills, and I was getting feedback by sending these emails to other people. Then I started offering those email services to people while also sending emails out to my own email list, which is about 2,000 people. Because like I said, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 19. So I've built up this email list. And so I was able to practice those skills on my own email list. And then when I was reaching out to people, I had stats. I was like, my emails are getting this click-through rate. And it was pretty impressive. And so I could share that with people. I could share that I ghost wrote a book. And I reached out to people that were already in my network, asking if they knew somebody, not asking if they needed a copywriter, asking if they knew somebody who might need a copywriter. And then some of them got back to me and they're like, actually, I need a copywriter. So that was super just organic and really easy. And it's just the start, but being able to like book thousands of dollars worth of jobs is the most freeing thing. And so that's something that is just super exciting. And I want other people to learn about it because there's such a need for copywriters. So many people I reached out to, they're like, yeah, I've been looking for a copywriter. And I would have thought they'd be so saturated because it's like, it just seems like such a good business. But this hat is itching my forehead. But anyways, that's what I'm going to call the start of my story. I'm sure I'll make an updated video like as I, blow past 10K and 20K and 30K in the next coming months. But that's just the start, and it's super exciting. And I think anybody can take those steps and duplicate that by just reaching out to people already in their network. If you're working a job, your boss might need a copywriter, right? Or maybe your parents' boss, or maybe like you just reach out to some of your friends and like spread the word organically. You don't even have to do cold outreach. And you don't need a ton of clients as a copywriter, because if you're charging like 2-3K to write somebody's emails and maybe their postscripts and do a landing page for them, like you don't need to have 25 clients. You can literally have like 4 clients and be making really good money. So yeah, I think it's a really cool niche. If you enjoy writing, you definitely should just practice writing. Check when you get a good email in your inbox, read it and then rewrite it and rewrite it and rewrite it and rewrite it and try to write it shorter and more precise. And as you write emails for people, send them. If you write an email for an influencer, let's say an influencer with a business coaching course, write them an email marketing their course and then send it to them on Instagram or whatever. And, maybe they won't respond, but if you do that enough times, they will. And you start to build that network if you don't already have one. But I guarantee you probably have someone in your network that could use a copywriter. It's just about getting creative, being genuine. If you're brand new, just like own that and be like, I'm super hungry. But be able to share some of the things that you've written and some of the results that you've gotten. It's kind of buggy outside because it's getting hot in New York. But yeah, anyway, hope that helps, and see you guys soon.